Call the meeting of the North Reading School Committee to order. Actually, we were in executive session, so we'll now re-enter open session. First thing I'd like to do tonight is acknowledge Mr. Paul Perry. We had some sad news about a week and a half ago. Mr. Perry, who was the principal in this district for 32 years, from 1971 to 2003. He was the principal of the Hood School, and he was highly influential in this district. And I don't think I served on the board. I think I was just coming on the board when he left, but I know Jerry was on the board when Paul was around, and he was a fixture in the North Reading school system for many years, and he passed away on October 27th. So at this time, I'd like to ask that we observe a moment of silence for Mr. Paul Perry. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have public input. So if anybody is here to be heard on any items not on our agenda or not affiliated with the batch tonight, please make yourself known. Seeing no one? Well, I see a lot of people, but I didn't see no one over there. I'd also like to mention, I think this is our 5th or 6th year that we've been touring the schools, and we love it because we get to see our schools in action. It was something that Jerry and I had talked about back 6 or 7 years ago, that we really wanted to see what the schools were doing, and we've actually increased that effort in the past few years. The superintendent has worked to bring more students into our regular meetings because it gives us a good flavor for the policies and the things that we're passing and talking about here. We get to actually see them in action by having the students in, so it's great to be at the batch again tonight with Mr. Green. Before we move to that on the program, we have our student report, and tonight we have a new student representative. She's here for the first time. We have Emma Hoey from the class of 2016. Emma?
Yes. So last Thursday we had a half day, and now we have the VIP raffle going on, and you can win a seat on a couch on the sidelines of this Thanksgiving game. If you're interested, please contact Miss Amy Sanerno. The talent show is this Thursday at 7 at the high school. The Harvest Dance is a new event hosted by the Student Council of the high school. It's next Friday from 7 to 10. The cheerleading, after winning their prior competitions, have qualified for regionals. The boys soccer lost last Wednesday at Chelmsford versus Watertown, but they're still in the semifinals since the first time since 1991. Football beat Amesbury at Amesbury. This is the first time ever, and it was also sponsored by the MSCPA. 2 classes went to Babson. Miss Pierce's accounting classes for the Massachusetts Society of Certified Public Accountants. The high school quiz show was last Sunday. They competed for the second time. The results are pending, and the junior team won. The winter ball, hosted by the juniors for freshmen and sophomore only, is a semi-formal dance on December 6th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. The Veterans Day Assembly was last Friday. Football game versus Weston at home this Friday at 7 p.m. The slam is halfway done with mentoring this year and class advisors. The term 1 report cards are going to be mailed tomorrow. And the 25th Parent-Teacher Conference. The auditions for the National Anthem Singer for Cup Rally are being held this week. And the Zandu auditions were last week. That's the school's play for this winter. And the callbacks are also this week. The cheerleading has this weekend the Sportsmanship and Spirit Awards. The NEMAS Fall Conference is this Thursday at Amesbury. And Allie Enos was our Cal All-Star for cheerleading. I brought with me student work tonight from our drawing and painting class. So, pass this around. We did representation paintings and sketches key to red from the North Reading Common.
See, that wasn't so bad for your first time, right?
David, right?
Any questions for Emma?
This is great.
I wanted to mention a few things. It's really a shame the football team didn't beat Saugus this year because they're on a roll right now, and they definitely would have been in the playoffs ahead of Hamilton Wenham. And I was at that boys soccer game, and they lost 1-0 in overtime to a Watertown team that went to the finals, state finals last year. And 18 of the 24 players on the Watertown team are eligible to play on they're not born in the United States. They're eligible to play on for their national teams in other countries. That's how good a team they were. And we held them scoreless. It was a great game. The kids played great. And the girls also had a great season too, and volleyball also getting states. So it was
Yeah, we had a very good fall season. Now, was that painting your work, or did you just take it from a class? That's yours? Okay. All right. Very good. Excellent.
Any other questions or comments? Sounds like a lot going on at the high school. Well, thanks, Emma. And as soon as we look at your artwork, you can collect it.
Is this watercolor?
No, it's made with tempera paints and wash.
Well, nice. And you can leave at any time when you feel like you need to leave. Okay? Thanks. Okay, next we're going to move around the agenda, and we're going to have Mr. Colleen come up, and I hope take control of the meeting. Sean, would you like to take control?
I always like to take control. First of all, just fix Jared, he's already falling apart.
What's going on? What? Oh. I'm glad I walked past it.
Your modesty, man, not so modest.
I didn't know where that was going. I actually rotate.
John's been principal here at the
That's going to make the top 10 of school.
Yeah. Feels like it. I'm just waiting. Do you want to, are you ready to go? Did you want them to go? Because I'm just waiting for my art scenes to come down. I just called, I don't know how long it will take to read them by the order.
I just thought we'd get the elementary children done first.
Talk about yourself.
Is Emma still here? Oh, Emma, these are all set.
On Saturday, and the high school Red Cross Club was there collecting items for the veterans.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great.
It was nice to see them at the bell.
That's a great club.
Would you give us what?
Yeah. No, Jerry.
I'd just like to also announce that we have a new addition, Michael Connolly and his wife had a new baby girl last week.
Michael?
Abigail Faith.
Are you taking paternity leave?
He's back already.
2 days?
As our students are setting up, and the technology is setting up, I'm going to introduce Mrs. Shaw. She's our art teacher here at the school. Does a fantastic job, but in addition to her talents, she's also one of our technology leaders. She presented at ASCII conference 2 weeks ago, correct?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Which you would see those pictures if you were following me on Twitter. And so what she's able to do is she's with the iPad initiative that you're all familiar with. She's the keeper of the carp here at the back of the school. So she's able to bring the technology to our class, and then also offer them to be able to support the co-teacher to bring the technology across other places. So without me continuing, I'm going to turn the stage over to Mrs. Shaw.
Okay, welcome. This is Jocelyn. She's in 2nd grade, and she is going to present with Jasper how we have used Photobabble, which is an app that you can pretty much use it in any subject area, but we've been using it a lot in the art room on how to talk about our artwork and how to talk about things methods that we've used, or to assess our strengths and weaknesses. So they're going to show you right now. Can you show them?
Okay, so this is my self-portrait.
So what he did is he took a photo, and they're going to show you how he actually used it in the classroom, but after we were done the project, this was the culmination of the project, he took a photo of his work, and then
I hit the record button, and it started. I am in the 2nd grade, and this is a self-portrait that I drew. What I learned from doing this drawing is that I am good at the painting in my background. I had the most trouble doing my lips in my self-portrait. I used direct observation from a mirror when I was drawing, and I learned that I'm not the best drawer, but I am a good painter.
Very good. And we have one from, so I also post these onto my website and link it to each child. I try to put every student, but here's Jocelyn's self-portrait so we can see both.
From doing this self-portrait is that doing your best pays off. I had most trouble with my head in my self-portrait. I used direct observation from a mirror when I was drawing, and I learned that it's better to do a smile.
I love those. Okay, so why don't we show them how we would make one if we were to do this again. How would you make a photo bubble?
We would hit.
So we tap on pictures, and they took a photo upstairs in the classroom to show you how we would use it. Here's some materials. So what do we have to do first? We're going to edit it. You can put a frame on it.
Frames.
Yeah, you can choose your own frame and apply it. Apply the fancy frame. And now when they're ready to record, in the classroom I did have a little script with blanks that they could fill in the blanks for their name and everything. But for this one, ready?
These are some of the tools we have used in the art room this year. Thanks for supporting iPads in the art room.
Okay, let's hear it back.
These are some of the tools we have used in the art room this year. Thanks for supporting iPads in the art room.
Nice job. Okay, and from my previous students here, I brought some of my students from last year. They're now in middle school in 6th grade, and I miss them dearly, but this is Joseph and Sam, and they're going to present an app called Splice and how we used it to create an animation with some puppets that we made last year.
So, we have a project, and so when we click on it, we have the fact that we have our title screen, and then to add new slide, you click on it, you hit add, and then so we want to add a photo. So we click video photo, camera roll, and we go down to some photos of 5th grade students now who are in the middle of working on the project that we did last year, making puppets and scenes. So right here we have a picture of one of the background scenes for the puppets. And we can also add in a picture of some of the puppets. So here's one of the puppets. And then and then we can also preview it so that we can add in sound effects that we've already put in.
Show them how you can add another sound effect.
So if you want to add another sound effect, look at here. If you want to go to audio, you want to click on the add button, go to Splice Library, go to sound effects, and you can pick from any of these, and we'll add in another applause to get done. And you can add it anywhere in the slideshow that you have. added at the end. Now, you can see it, we'll have it in there. This was a puppet show, slideshow that me, Joseph, and 2 of our other friends made last year.
So this is the culmination of the entire unit.
Hello everybody! I am here to present my multi-millionaire one-of-a-kind paintings. But first, does anybody want to buy this one? No, it stinks! And that one. Well, here, this one is an abstract, this one is a man, this one is a potty drawn duck, and this one is some more abstract. Thank you everybody! 5 hours later, closing time! Kobe, let's pick the lock. You try. Okay. I'm so bored. Hey, let me try. Where's my leg? Ha ha ha! Ha! I beat my bus tonight, ma. Hey, you try. No! And scene. The end.
Okay. Thank you to my volunteers who came tonight to show what we've done. It's really fun. We have a lot of fun, and we learn a lot using the iPads. And just, I think it's become more of a support to the curriculum and an addition to it, rather than, I think, when I went to the conference, some people thought that it was taking place of the art curriculum, which it's not. It's just there to support and engage and motivate students, and just to add that elevation. So, thank you very much.
In staying with the technology rolling away pretty fast. In staying with the fine arts theme, obviously we were in school yesterday for Veterans Day, and every year at the Bachelor School we have a Veterans Day assembly. Last year was the first year I think we moved it to our 3rd grade class, and Miss Larson's first year. In her 2nd year, she added some more components to the assembly. You got to see some of the work that the 3rd graders did through music and their classroom, and then helped put together by the art teacher for display. So Miss Larson is our 2nd year music teacher. We have about, I don't know, I think it was about 27 or 28 beautiful little 3rd graders here. Alan, you're tall, so I want you to stand right here. You're going to go next a little bit over the front. Keep going. Sam, keep coming that line.
My 2nd row is supposed to flow.
Alan,
Right?
in back.
Alan, yes.
Oh, never mind, go back. Go behind it. Alan, come down the end. How are you, buddy?
Alan?
Good to see you.
Alan?
Here we go.
So we invited them to come and share a couple of songs from our assembly, and gave a couple of parents another opportunity to see their kids perform, which we love.
Hello, so my name is Christine Larson, and I'm the general music and chorus teacher here. So we have 28 3rd graders here. In the performance, there was about 80 of them. So these are some exceptional students that volunteered their time to sing for us a 3rd time. We are very proud of their performance on Thursday and Friday of last week. And it was a really special experience. We had a lot of veterans there who expressed their gratitude And as you can see, it was definitely a collaborative project. If you got a chance to just look at the artwork behind you, a lot of them got to interview their veterans. They learned about the history behind all the songs. They made a beautiful backdrop in art class. And as you're going to see, they learned the name of all 50 states in alphabetical order. It's very impressive. So I'm going to let them do the introductions. Allie and Catherine.
Good evening. We would like to welcome you to our legislature. First of all, it is so important to honor people fighting for our country on Veterans Day and every day. Over the last few weeks, we have learned a lot about the United States. Our country wouldn't be what it is today without the brave men and women who have served the armed forces.
Our first song will be 50 Nifty United States. This is one of our favorite songs to sing. When we learned all of the states' names, we also learned some interesting facts about each state. Each state has its own flag, flower, birds, cities, and nicknames. Massachusetts was the 6th state and is nicknamed the Bay State. We made these posters in art class to represent each special state. Listen to find out which state is our favorite.
students actually have the opportunity to interview the veterans in their lives, so I'm going to let them tell you about them now. So those 5 students. Go ahead, Allie.
I interviewed my dad about his experience in the Air Force. For me, he liked the uniforms and the food. He wished his family could have come with him so they could have seen Germany and the rest of Europe. He enjoyed seeing so many countries at such a young age. There are so many ways to help others when you're in the military. It's a great way to support your country. My dad was in the Air Force, and his job was to find other planes that were enemies and to tell fighters to shoot them down. This little spy plane called Airbus and was sent to Iraq and Afghanistan. My dad told me that the hardest part was going through fear and wanting to see friends get hurt. I think my dad is very brave, and I am proud that he served our country. My Uncle Cliff served in the U.S. Navy from 1995 to 1999. He traveled many places in the Mediterranean and Persian Gulf. He and his ship received a special honor from traveling peacefully to Yugoslavia after civil war. I'm thankful for my uncle and all those keep us safe. My great-grandfather, Peter Radlinski, was in World War I. He came to Ellis Island by himself when he was only 14 years old. He was so proud of his new country. He talked about battles where thousands of soldiers died, including when he was 5. I am proud that my great-grandfather fought to make the United States while they was today. I'm only sad that my mom and I never got to meet him. If I did, I would say thank you for giving us freedom. Veterans are important people in our lives, and we appreciate everything they have done. They made a lot of sacrifices to serve their country. It must have been very hard to leave their family and friends even to risk their lives to keep us safe. Please enjoy that song, Think of That. This song is dedicated to our veterans.
Glimpse of our performance. We had about 4 or 5 more songs, and you can only imagine with more people, but these students did an excellent job. I really want to thank them for coming here on this Tuesday night, and it was a lot of fun to do it one more time. So thank you, and let's get her.
Start to finish. All the students took such great pride. You can tell even from the speaking parts and what they've learned from family about how important Veterans Day is. as far as understanding why they have no school that day and to take time to reflect upon it. It's something that we're very proud of. They were very proud. I'm so excited that 28 students were able to come tonight, but their whole grade level performance in front of their peers, kindergarten through 5th grade, they did a performance for the whole student body, so the other 400 kids. And then they also did one to a packed house of 300 adults, parents, friends, relatives, and it was truly powerful. It was a great job, boys and girls. I'd like to thank the parents for taking the time out of their evening schedule to get the kids down here tonight to share a little bit with the school committee because they can't make it to all of those things that we do during the day. So thank you all for your commitment. Thank you, Ms. Larson, and thank Mrs. Shaw. I appreciate that, Mrs. Piper, Mrs. Fay, I see you in the back.
Thank you.
Although I don't know Mrs. Fay, you're double duty as a mom and a... Have a good night.
Thank you.
She's doing that and she's doing that.
So that's a little bit about what's going on at the Bachelor School. To share with you, we're always proud when you come here to be able to share what the students are doing. So we're happy to house you here. Sorry, we're moving with the audience.
I can't believe they're leaving. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
Welcome.
Okay. No. And as Jerry mentioned, learning the 50 states, not only learning the 50 states, but in alphabetical order.
I didn't even know there were 50 states.
And as Cliff said, they'll never forget them.
Oh, they'll never forget that.
No.
That was excellent. Okay. Next.
We know how to clear our room.
Yeah, do we ever?
Oh, here we go.
Do we ever?
Next item.
Boss State.
Believe we'll move
Well done, Bob, for
to...
believing in us.
Are you ready, Mrs. Brown? Mrs. Brown?
Mrs. Brown.
We are going to have a presentation for a school trip from the high school adventure club. And we have Claudia Brown.
A copy with the revised PowerPoint has
Copy
been
of the revised
distributed
PowerPoint?
to you. Yes, slide 6 was revised slightly.
I think we're trying to get that up on the screen, correct?
Yes, they are.
There it is.
So, hello, everybody.
Hi, Claudia.
Hello. Just because there's no audience besides you beautiful folks, we're not nervous at all. I just want to introduce this young man to you because last year we were here to present a ski trip to you, and you kindly sent us on our way to New Hampshire to Loon Mountain, and this young man joined the trip. And he had never snowboarded in his life, and he is now, I don't know what to do. He's in my office every single day. So at the beginning of this year, I said to him, would you like to lead the adventure club? And no sooner did I say that than Mark Flaherty took over. So here he is, Mark Flaherty.
So, as Ms. Brown introduced me, my name is Mark Flaherty. I'm a junior at the high school, and I came here as an elementary school student, and I swear that this cafeteria was much larger than it is. I swear. So, introductions are over. Let's get down to business here. So, we came here to propose a series of trips. Our biggest and most important one, in my opinion, is the weekend trip to Loon. We did this last year, and Ms. Brown mentioned this is the trip that I joined, and I literally had no idea what I was doing on the mountain. And the first half of the day was an incredible catastrophe. I ended up walking down the mountain because I just didn't know how. And one of the chaperones at lunch said, "Okay, hey, I'll take you up and I'll teach you how, show you the ropes." And next thing I knew, I was going down some pretty sophisticated trails, in my opinion. But, so it's a 2-night trip proposal, and the only difference between last year and this year is that this year we're doing 2 nights, while last year we did only 1. The date of the trip will be the same date as last year, January 10th, but we'll be going to the 12th. What is included in the trip is 2 nights at the Beacon Resort, which is where we stayed last year, and it was fantastic. Transportation via a motor coach bus, 2 days of skiing at Loon Mountain, 2 breakfasts, 1 dinner, taxes, and I can't pronounce this word, so gratuities, and 1 complimentary package for every 10 packages paid. So the cost for this Loon weekend, they're based on 25 paid guests and 2 complimentary packages. So it'll be $269 per person for quad occupancy, $284 for a triple occupancy, $316 for a double, and $410 for every single.
And so that includes the tour, the package, the skiing both days, and the dinners and breakfast, as you saw on the previous slide.
We're also here to propose 2-day ski trips. One will be Saturday, February 1st in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Saturday, March 1st at Waterville Valley, New Hampshire. The cost for these trips will be Bretton Woods will be $69 per person. Waterville Valley will be $68 per person, and this is based on a 40 people traveling. Another trip we are planning is the Sculptured Rocks Natural Area of Groton, New Hampshire. I've been here several times, and I see something new every single time. It's honestly one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. The river shaped these rocks however many years ago, and some of them are shaped like faces, and it's crazy. It's nuts. It's probably my favorite place to hike in the entire world. One more trip here is probably one of the most exciting we're doing all year. It's indoor skydiving. Here we'll be going to Nashua, New Hampshire, to a place called Sky Venture, and that will be probably a spring of 2014, maybe late
That's
winter.
Mr. Bernard in the blue suit right there. He's next. I think that, here
And
we
then
go.
who do we have chaperoning? It's obviously Miss Brown. Last year, Kathy Stankus. Kathy Stankus chaperoned Justin Madison and Mr. Votto, who is a new teacher at the high school this year. And then Miss Brown thinks Mr. Venezia would make a wonderful
I
chaperone.
haven't proposed anything to get out of my house.
However, I would say if he was a chaperone, I might not vote for him. So.
I've been next to him for a long time, I remember.
I don't know if I can do that into a skydive. Would that hold me up?
Yeah, I think so, I think so.
It says don't be over 250 pounds.
Yes, it holds you up.
You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that.
We also have done a couple of trips already this year. We went paddleboarding. That was our first. We tried to do something in September immediately. And since the water is still warm-ish, we went to Beverly Harbor to Lynch Park, and we rented paddleboards, and we had a ball. It was a windy, choppy day. It was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and then we went rock climbing about a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, to Boston Rock Gym in Woburn. We had a blast there too. And we've had some wonderful connections in these places. At the gym, we met Amy, the youth services director. She came and met us. She helped do some belaying. Also Michelle Giordano, who's a high school teacher, and her daughter came and met us there. We had a lot of fun.
Her daughter is so much better than I am at rock climbing, and I'm slightly embarrassed.
She's only this big. And as you can see, Adventure Club, since its inception a few years ago, has grown in leaps and bounds with, and this guy, he's only a junior. I'm going to be so tired by the end of next year. So any questions, anybody?
I have one question for you guys, and then I think a couple of superintendent. How many members do you have of the Adventure Club now?
We have probably around 20 members. I'm sorry, I don't know that exact number, Mel. But having on the adventure so far, we've had bits of them. So we've had 9 people paddleboarding, 6 people, but they're different kids. So that's cool.
We've averaged around 6 to 9 kids for the trips that we've done.
Last year's ski trip, we had 22, so we're hoping that we're going to, and the other thing we want to do, and Mr. Bernard has waived the Adventure Club membership for us on the more expensive trips, because you have to pay the user fee to join, and then there's an additional cost. So for some folks to join just to go on that ski trip is cost prohibitive, so he's allowed us to do that, so we'll probably do that again with your permission.
And the company we're going through is Ski 93, and we've had tremendous success with them in the past. Like last year, the ski trip was planned through Ski 93, and they did a wonderful job.
So the questions for you, Kathy, are, one, we only have to approve the overnight trip, right? We don't have to approve the other
Out
ones.
of state.
Out of state.
Out of state,
Out of state, yes.
even the day trips?
Even the day trips.
And then the second question is, I guess both of you, we still have to adhere to the one chaperone for every 10
Yes.
participants, correct? Okay.
Yes.
I wouldn't
Just-
have it any other way.
Unless they switch the one-day ski trip to the Burma behind the middle school.
You wouldn't have to approve that.
Up to your yacht.
Stop talking, okay?
All right, okay.
Just for your information as well, January 10th, the students are not in school. It's
Yeah,
a full
it's a-
professional development day for the
Oh, okay.
teachers.
Right.
So they're not missing a day of school.
Well, and neither am I. We're not leaving until the end of the school
Yeah, we
day.
Until the end of school.
We did have school.
I was gonna talk to Claudia later. Shake
Well,
me.
if she-
I haven't signed yet, yes.
Just deduct it from the pay.
Any other questions?
Again, stop talking.
Should we vote for all of these in one block, or do we need to vote for them individually?
I would say all of them on one block,
Any other comments or questions?
unless there's any.
Did you
No.
take the motor coach even on the day trips?
Yes.
On the day trips, that's based on 40 people, so they're very expensive. So that's our goal, is to have a motor coach. And that's our goal. So with our paddleboarding trip and our rock climbing, I used the big red van and drove the kids myself.
She did.
Mr. Bernard's a pretty big bus guy, so we try to we'd like a lot of people to go with us.
I love people, so. The more the merrier.
With Mark's enthusiasm, this club is going to burst at the seams at the high school.
That's great.
So I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the 2013-2014 proposed trips out of state for the Adventure Club.
A second? I think Cliff got the second, so I'll give it, sorry, Jerry. You're going to be chaperoning anyway. So we have a motion,
Love to have it.
motion by Karen and a second by Cliff. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Great.
Have fun.
Thank you all so much.
Thanks for the
Thank you
presentation.
for your
Thanks,
time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, last trip.
Variety screen. No one wears skirts.
Okay, so let's get back to the agenda. Under continued business, we have an update on the school building project. And Kathy was not there.
Correct.
So Jerry, I guess, will, and then Janine and Cliff can chime in as they wish.
Kathy told me to take notes because she wasn't there.
Okay.
I took voluminous notes and I left them like that. However, I reviewed them before I came in here. We got a progress report from the contractor, from the design team. And they're continuing, obviously, if you drive down Route 62, you can't miss it. On A building, the windows are going in. They're putting up the attachments or whatever they call them, so that under the windows and above the windows, we have anodized metal that goes in there, and they're prepping it for the installation of the metal. I think the windows, I noticed today that they were continuing around the first floor. The skylight is done. They are bringing in, I believe, Cliff, correct me if I'm wrong, the actual boiler, so that they can actually heat a building, I believe.
The boilers have arrived on site, the actual final boilers, but they're bringing in temporary heat boilers for winter. They're expecting to turn the real boilers on February.
Right.
The brickwork is essentially done on A building. They are now, actually it's essentially done on B building, which is the auditorium building. On C building, they're almost finished. C building is the principal's administrative area and the media center. The gymnasium, which is considered D building for the project, they actually spent on Saturday putting up the outside gypsum wall board to close in the gymnasium area. All the floor pours are done except for one section of the gym, which I believe is going to be done, I think, this week. But that's the last remaining floor for the floors. I walked through the building Saturday, and they actually have the study inside the C building and the administrative area for the principal. They got all of the offices laid out in there. The electrical's coming in. A building, they're working obviously 5-6 days a week, putting in the HVAC ducts, the electrical, the plumbing, and now the sheetrock is going in an A building. So they're starting to really, the halls and the classrooms are really taking formation. They are putting together a mock-up classroom and laboratory for the administrators to take a look at so that they can make a determination as to whether or not it's done and finished and designed the way they intended it. I'm not sure when that's going to be done, Kathy, but the mock-ups are they're working on that now.
Probably this spring.
Okay. The berm has been finished out back as you come up. The road has been extended. If you come up the road from the high school parking lot, that's been extended all the way around behind the gymnasium. They are prepping the area behind that for the first parking lot to be paved. That's going to be done, I think, by the end of November. The berm has been completed. What else significant?
This is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's close. The building's getting fairly close to being closed in, and they're hoping by the end of December it's going to be closed in. And that would mean the roof. They're working on the roof on D building, which is the gymnasium. So, you know, the roof, the walls, the windows, that should be all in place by the end of December. And then obviously it'll be about finishing and working inside, which will be good because obviously they'll be out of the elements. We also spent a good amount of time last Tuesday discussing the ongoing case that we have with some of the abutters regarding the situation with their landscape and their trees. I think tonight we had a meeting just before we came here. I think we would come to hopefully a resolution whereby the secondary school building committee voted to make a settlement with them so that they could take care of their own landscaping and hopefully fix the problems that they've experienced over there on the backside of the project. So that's pretty much it. Cliff, Janine has anything else?
Not much to add to that. They're pretty complete. It's amazing how much has been accomplished how fast.
It's remarkable. Like I said, I went through Saturday, I took my time, and I did every single room, and it's really amazing. But I will say this, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work left to be done, but we're on schedule.
The one thing you didn't mention is that the curtain wall on the
Front.
glass on the front in the distance learning lab is supposed to be done soon.
Supposed to be, but it hasn't started yet, so it can't be done until they start. And I'm hoping they get started on that very soon.
Janine, anything to add?
No.
Okay. Just think, 7 months, when the kids are getting out of the middle school in June, that'll be pretty much it for the middle school. And they're going to start getting in there right away.
Immediately,
School
the day
ends.
after they're out of school.
And, everything appears to be on schedule. There may be a few glitches, but A building, B building, C building, all, not B. The auditorium is probably the one area that...
Well, I'll tell you this, in the auditorium, when I was in there Saturday, it's amazing what they've done in like a week. They've got it all framed, they've got almost all framed in. They've actually got the sheetrock up on the walls on both sides of the auditorium. And it's really starting to take shape, so they're moving along even inside the auditorium.
It is amazing, though. I can't glue two pieces of wood together. So to imagine that project,
It's amazing.
I always look at the paper. How do they take it from the paper to reality?
An interesting perspective is that 1 year ago, just before Thanksgiving,
That's right.
we were still trying to figure out how we were going to make the 10 pounds of potatoes fit in the 5-pound sack.
We had that groundbreaking, right?
And
About a year ago.
we were desperate to try to find a way to make it all fit together. And today we have a project that's almost closed in. That's amazing.
And the superintendent and the building principals are working with the architect and looking at furniture and everything else that goes with the project, and all that's moving along.
That's correct. We handed in our completed first review of every single room, so every single piece of furniture has been reviewed, every piece of equipment. These are binders that are created room by school, by space. And we're meeting this coming Friday for an extended period of time to go through the binders as completed to find out where we're at in terms of the budget and to start figuring out where we may need to pare back because, of course, we might have asked for too many things inside the school. But we have a budget, we're working within that budget, and we're coming together this Friday.
that's something people don't see, but the amount of time and effort the administrative staff has put into this project, in addition to everything else they have to do from the superintendent down to John Bernard and Catherine O'Connell and Patrick Daly and all of those people, and Wayne Hardigan. It's incredible how much time and effort they put in above and beyond the call of duty to keep this project moving forward. So.
Have we scheduled the open house date yet?
Not yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Any other questions or comments on the new school project?
The next regular SSBC meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, November 19th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. in the high school modular cafeteria.
Thank you. Okay, next we have second reading of a couple of policies that we reviewed for first reading last week. The first was a student activities policy, JH, where I believe we added in the superintendent in terms of having to review and approve, correct? Correct. So unless we have any questions on policy JH for second reading, I will accept the motion to approve. Motion by Cliff, second by Karen. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. And then the second one is just to replace the old North Reading School Committee self-assessment tool with a new self-assessment tool. That's policy BIA. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll take the motion to approve for second reading the new North Reading School Committee self-assessment tool, policy BIA.
Second.
Motion by Cliff, second by Karen. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, found the badge. Entry Club. Report on the Mask Conference, which Kathy, Janine, and Patrick Daly attended last week. Kathy?
Well, we had a great time. On Wednesday, November 6th, the conference started. This is the joint conference between the Mass Association of School Committees and the Mass Association of School Superintendents. So Patrick Daly was a presenter on Thursday, and he presented on the Common Core. I moderated that session. He presented with the principal of the North Shore Regional Vocational Technical High School. They did a wonderful job. We had 40 to 50 people in attendance at that session, and that's a well-attended session. And then on Friday morning, I was a member of a 4-superintendent panel. The focus of that presentation was the role of the school business administrator on the leadership team. And I specifically spoke to the hiring process. And I can tell you, I'm going to turn this over to Janine in a minute because she really, as a first-timer, has a lot to say. But during the presentation around the business administrator, I can tell you the people in the audience, and it was moderately attended, were very, very interested in the finance planning team structure in North Reading. I don't want to say that the conversation was dominated about how there is a significant amount of trust in the town between the municipal side and the school district side, but I can tell you members of the school committee were fascinated by that structure and talked an awful lot about how do we begin, because that doesn't exist in their communities. So again, it was wonderful to be able to represent North Reading and the good things that are taking place, and to be able to talk to people that are long-sitting school committee members who were just in awe of what gets accomplished with that kind of a structure. So again, congratulations to this committee and the other boards in town. North Reading was again put on the map, and I was pleased to be able to represent.
I think it was Bob Seri that started.
I think so.
He deserves a lot of credit for that.
Right.
It's worked out remarkably.
It has been, it's probably one of the best things this town's ever done, because it limits the bickering and fighting and infighting, and it contains it if it does ever break out, because we have enough meetings where we can talk those issues through.
And we talked an awful lot about trust and the importance of our business administrator being able to build on that trust and then, again, provide a very transparent process when presenting the budget or fielding questions about budget development by other boards in town. So again, it speaks to what you've put into place and passing the torch from Carl Nelson now to Michael Connolly, and continuing that tradition of transparency, trust, integrity, and honesty with budget development. So it's great.
So let's hear it, Janine.
I'm short and sweet to the point. I found it very educational and very interesting. Having just been elected in April, I had yet to do what's called charting the way, which is when you're a new member, you're supposed to learn. So by attending the conference, there were obviously for a new person, it's kind of like evaluating Superintendent 101 or School Law 101, things of that nature you could attend, and through attending those, you pretty much got your certification by the end of the session. So that in itself was worth it. Meeting other people from the different districts and like Kathy had said, just kind of what they do and listening to how their towns and cities work. It was amazing how well we do it in North Reading. There's boards that are so contentious they can't get anything done. They don't like their superintendent. The superintendent refuses to give them information. And that was a big thing. They have to give you the information, so a lot of people who are veterans actually learn a lot from it too. So those who may not have attended may want to think about attending in the future.
Well, after hearing about this thing in executive session,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go, yeah, let's go too.
There was
What happens in executive session?
Days of
stays.
executive session.
They had very good speakers in the general sessions. This one gentleman that Kathy will speak to had us all in stitches. He was a wonderful presentator and he got his point across, but it wasn't boring and you weren't falling asleep, so that's always a bonus. The food was very good. Like I said, I found out that we do it very well in North Reading and that we have a good crew that we work with. And I learned all about the Gettysburg Address. It is the 150th year. November 3rd, I believe, is when November 19th is when he gave the address. And we had a history teacher break it down in the way that it correlates to the Common Core teaching and how reading and literacy shouldn't just be taught through ELA, it should be taught through math, through history.
Right.
And she went over the Gettysburg Address and brought it out how, so it's a speech the guy gave, big deal, what's the background of it, what are some of the other speeches, who else presented that same day, and it was just how she brought it all together. It made a lot of sense how teaching literacy and reading in other classes other than ELA is highly beneficial. And then we had a gentleman, McDough, I believe is his last name, Michael McDough, phenomenal speaker. He could tell you probably the color of the blade of grass in front of said person when they fell. He knows that much information about the Gettysburg Address. And he also used the Gettysburg Address and the battle in itself to teach leadership, how General Lee did versus General Lee. Yes. And the differences and the nuance, one was a veteran, one was a newbie, how they got to do the things that they did. So it was very beneficial.
Interesting enough, Mrs. Brown, who was there earlier, as a prerequisite to going on the 8th grade trip, every student who was going on that trip had to memorize and recite the Gettysburg Address.
That's right.
Yeah.
According to this gentleman who is an expert in the Civil War, it's a 2-minute speech, but it's the most talked about speech in the history of this country in terms of what it represented and as far as a turning point in the Civil War. And again, Ginny was talking about the social studies teacher that was giving an example of close reading that's included in the Common Core around literacy being taught across the content areas. And she really used the vocabulary that was included in the Gettysburg Address to help the students learn about what was taking place at that time. So there might have been some old-fashioned language that then the students researched and were able to speak about in relationship to what was taking place at that particular time. But this was a theme that permeated the entire conference. It's the first time that's ever happened. But everyone spoke about what a great idea that was, because there are so many lessons to be learned from the Civil War, as it relates to this country, and so many lessons around leadership. And leadership really is the essence of this joint conference. And so every time we were learning something new about leadership, it was brought back to the Civil War and to the Gettysburg Address. It was, I've been to a couple. This was my favorite one. The speakers were outstanding, as Janine said. Michael Staver was very entertaining, but he also talked about leadership and lessons to be learned as leaders and things that we don't consider and some pitfalls that we need to avoid as we continue to develop as leaders. That's what he said, right? But he was great. And then we also had a speaker, his name was Levin, Jack Levin from Northeastern University, and he did a fabulous job talking about the world's criminology. Oh, and why people choose the path that they go on, and especially if they choose the wrong path. So he did a nice job talking about that as well. But the whole conference was very well done, and I thought that it was worthwhile, and I kept asking Janine what she thought about it. And as she just said to you, she encourages more people to attend because it was well done. And she had some really nice people. We sat with people from Marlboro, a lot of school committee members from Marlboro, and it was great. We exchanged great ideas. They're doing some things in Marlboro that I was very interested in, so I asked if I could get copies of things that they, and we're doing things that they want to find more about. So I've already received one email from one of the members for more information, just thanking us for sharing with them at a table and doing more. And I know the superintendent there too, so it's all good.
My guess is that those other school committees, their table skirts stay up during the meeting.
We
What do you
didn't
think,
talk
Jerry?
about that.
Like I said,
But it was great.
So I have a question for you. There was a couple weeks ago, an Amesbury school committee member had on the mask listserv that they were going to try to introduce something to one of the resolutions that was being voted on, and this was related to having the state would be required to pay for things like when they introduce Park to us after a school year has started, we've got no budget for it, we know it's going to cost us some money. I was wondering if that came up at all.
Well, Janine was your official delegate.
Okay.
And so I don't get to attend those meetings.
Okay.
Only Janine and school committee members go.
It was very overwhelming, so my apologies. One of the things that, I went there and literally I'm reading the stuff going, it doesn't pertain to me, so, do I just do the mass majority, or, if I'm emphatically against it, vote no. But the park thing, yes, they put an addendum to have Park Play reimburse monies, but then a second addendum came up, and I don't remember the town, but it took it a step further. There's a lot of towns out like near Pittsfield and things that, they don't have a big budget, so they may not even have a computer.
Right.
So, now it's going to take me longer to do it by, by paper and whatnot. So the addendum that they put onto it was that Park, get everyone computers. If they want us to do it on computers, then by all means supply us with it. And afterwards, I was sitting and talking to a fellow school committee, and I said, can you explain to me what this is about? I said, because the resolution 1 made no sense to me.
Right.
We don't have a transient group or a homeless group that, we would need this for. And she said, definitely, it's more like we're telling the heads that this is what we want you to lobby for. And essentially that's what it is, and that, made sense to me. But something else that she had said to me was, show what is on the agenda, what the resolutions are to your members, and then have them vote on it. Chelmsford, I believe, did that. And a couple of people stood up and said, well, my board told me that, we don't want it this way. There was one that was bunched together, they wanted it broken out so that they didn't have to vote yes on everything, they could, whatever. And I thought that was an interesting idea.
So we can do that next year.
Yes. So, and we do get it in advance.
And did those amendments to that resolution, were those passed to have the
Yes.
state pay and also, that's interesting. I mean, all that is, we're just asking the legislature to pass those as bills or introduce bills, but.
You're just asking a family member that head of the
Right.
agency to introduce a bill.
Right.
Push it.
Right, this is what our constituents are saying, let's
It may be worthwhile actually to have Glenn Kuchar come out and talk to us about ways that we can be more involved as a committee.
Yes, during the delegation, there's like a pre-meeting, they ask if anyone wants to be nominated to be on the board. And I was going to say me.
Oh, please, I didn't say, did you volunteer any of this?
It ran across my mind, and I'm like, Mel would love me.
That might be a good idea to have Glenn come in sometime and talk to us. It just,
To be engaged.
yeah, how we can.
It never hurts to learn. I mean, like I said, there was so much information there that, Kathy hadn't mentioned, or you hadn't mentioned the resolutions. I would have forgotten about that.
And one other thing, so related to the resolutions, is there any update on Park? Have we heard anything back? from
Yes, I was
the
going to do that under administrative
Okay.
report.
All right,
Um,
wait there. Okay. All right, any other questions on the mask conference report? Okay, next we have minutes. I've looked at all these, and I don't see an issue with any of them, so unless anybody has an issue, we have the October 7th regular meeting, which was prior to the October town meeting. So unless anybody has any issues, I'll accept the motion to approve. Motion by Cliff, second by Karen. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Then we have an October 7th executive session. Again, I found no issues with it. Move to approve. Motion by Cliff, second by Janine. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. And then we have the October 15th regular session. Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Cliff, second by Karen. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay. No budget update, Michael?
No, not this evening.
Okay. Nothing on staffing, Kathy?
Not at this time.
And we do have one donation if you want to.
Yes, high school principal John Bernard requests that the school committee accept the following donation. This is a donation by the Athletic Boosters Association of 4 concussion helmets with a value of $1,100.
That's great.
Move to accept with gratitude.
Motion by Cliff to accept with gratitude, second by Karen. And thank you to the athletic boosters for their ongoing support for all of our athletic teams. Any further discussion?
I just have one question.
Yes.
Do we have sufficient number of concussion helmets now to for our students?
How many do we have? I think
It's a good question.
Gotta be
We know
getting up
that
to the teens.
It's got to be at least to the teens, maybe closing in on 20.
Yeah.
They go for about $250 a piece.
Yeah, it's 275. That's what
$275.
I asked John.
Do we have enough helmets is more my question. Like, do we have enough?
We do
And there
not
are
have
some that are-
concussion helmets for every player.
no.
John indicated to me, actually asking that question, that it was close to 30.
30 is
Oh,
it?
really?
Okay, I thought it was in the
We're getting
20s.
close to
Yeah.
using enough for
Low 30s.
everything, which is, and nothing prevents concussions, but these
Right.
make it more difficult to get a concussion, so.
Every little bit helps.
Right, right.
Can we figure out how much money it would take to actually finish that?
That actually might be a good idea, now that we're getting close to, can we take a look at that, how many helmets the program has,
Yeah,
Michael?
absolutely.
And we can talk about athletics, next athletics subcommittee meeting.
It's kind of tough to do. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right,
So we have to vote.
subcommittee.
Do we vote on it?
Oh, yeah, did we vote on that?
Yes.
Oh,
No.
we didn't vote on that. So let's vote on that. We have a motion, I
It's
think,
my
by
job.
Cliff, second by Karen. Thank you very much. All those in favor of accepting with gratitude the athletic boosters donation? Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, next, subcommittee reports. I don't think we have any subcommittees. I know this week we have, policy is meeting, is that Thursday?
Yes.
We have finance planning on Friday,
Yes.
athletic subcommittee the 26th, and the still elusive date for the communications subcommittee meeting, because I haven't.
After the holidays.
Okay.
We're still waiting for,
A question on that.
still waiting.
We don't have a schedule yet for when those
No.
shows are. Have you taped, have you
We're
done another
supposed to
one?
be taping another one next week.
So we have 3 in the can, right? 3
Right.
shows in the can.
Right.
Okay. Have to get on Phil's space there. Yeah. Okay, next, administrative report.
Yes, I don't have anything to give to you in writing, but I just have 2 things that I'd like to talk about. The first is a memo that I did forward to you from the commissioner regarding the NAEP, which is the National Assessment of Educational Progress. Massachusetts 4th and 8th graders for the 5th year in a row earned the nation's top scores in reading and mathematics on the 2013 NAEP this year. So I think it's important for us to celebrate the accomplishments. Massachusetts continues to lead the way, and I'd like to thank the committee for their support. I'd love to thank the teachers for everything that they do, and the administrators for providing the direction to those educators to continue to make Massachusetts #1 in this country, as well as in the world. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So, the second is about Park. I have received an email or a memo from Bob Bickerton, who is the Senior Associate Commissioner who is heading up the Park field test. And the purpose of this email was for superintendents to enroll to participate in an informational session regarding whether or not students will participate in MCAS, if they've also been identified as participating in the performance-based assessment. So I'm supposed to be getting more clarification on participation at this conference call, and I signed up for Thursday, November 21st from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So I've invited I haven't had a chance yet to invite Mr. Colleen. The 5th grade has been identified at the Batchelder School and participating in the Park assessment for both the PBA as well as the end of the year assessment, and then the 3rd grade at the Little School for the PBA, both in mathematics. We're supposed to be notified by the Department of Ed in early December as to whether or not our requested exemption will be approved.
That was for the middle and high school, right?
That is for both the middle and the high, and that was for 4 additional
And
assessments.
when those tests, do you know when those tests are given?
Yes, I do. I just have to pull out my notes.
And when do we have to make a decision? They haven't even given us like what options we have to choose from in terms of.
Well, that's what this clarification is for. And I do know that a decision will need to be provided to the Department of Ed, I believe, by December 6th. Superintendents seeking to waive MCAS testing must indicate their plans to the department by Friday, December 6th.
But they haven't really settled on how we'd still, because we have that hole in our data, how we would. They gave us some options, but they hadn't really made those official options, right?
This is the option that the commissioner has committed to. He has committed that no school will have its accountability rating disadvantaged by participating in the Park field test. And so I'm participating in this conference call to find out more specifics. But forgive me for reading, but I don't quite understand it yet, so I'm going to just tell you what the commissioner has said in the memo. The district will then have the option of selecting the higher annual accountability determination, 2014 Annual Progress and Performance Index, incorporating CPI growth, percent advanced, percent warning failing, of the following 2 calculations made by the department for each school participating in the PBA component of the Park field test. And then A is calculations including the field tested grades, B, calculations excluding the field tested grades. This straightforward and uncomplicated solution to district concerns enables your schools to participate in the Park field test knowing that you will have the opportunity to mitigate disadvantages that may result from the random selection of classes in each school in the district by selecting the higher of 2 scores. This solution also preserves the accountability system for the overwhelming majority of schools.
But that doesn't solve the issue if you have a school with 60 kids in the 3rd grade and 40 of them are assigned to take the test. Because if you don't count the park test, then you only have 20 kids that are taking MCAS. Because I think we should exempt those kids from the MCAS, because I don't think it's fair to make some students take 3 different standardized tests during the year. I think that's outrageous.
I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of superintendents down at this joint conference, and most are selecting to do both the park field test and the MCAS because they don't want a hole in their data, but particularly with EdEval requiring MCAS being used as one piece of data for the educator evaluation system.
Is that fair to the students?
The students also will have a hole in their data if they've taken the MCAS. With the student growth percentile, it's based on 2 years worth of data. So if you're in 3rd grade, that's the first year of your 2 years of data to get an SGP at the end of 4th grade. If you don't take the test in 3rd grade, you won't have an SGP till the end of 5th grade.
The problem is this wasn't thought through from the beginning. That's the problem. I mean, you just can't, in my way of thinking, you just can't force kids to take 3 different standardized tests during the year. That just, the time alone is, to me, that's just ridiculous. And this time spent to help prep them for these tests, and then the time the staff has to put in.
And training. The one benefit, if it is a benefit, is that you gain some experience around the kinds of questions that will be included on park prior to park counting. Now, there are practice sample questions online that you can take a look at without actually taking the test.
See, I can see that benefit. I'm just saying that the plan doesn't make sense to me, the way it's being implemented. That, the test, and I'm assuming in terms of us counting park results, is that after we see them, we get to determine whether we include them?
No, we can't. Park results will not be released. These are calculations
I
that
thought
will
you
be
just
done.
read that.
Calculations based on MCAS. The
So-
students that are left in the grade that aren't taking part will be taking will be taking MCAS because it's required by
Right.
law.
But what if we only had 20 kids take MCAS and 40 took park?
Then, depending upon how those students perform, we can either count them,
Park?
no, not for park, the MCAS. The 20 students left that would be taking MCAS, for example.
Right.
The results of that cohort of students, we can choose to use or not use, depending upon
So if
how
you
well
don't-
those students perform.
So if you didn't use it, we could have a whole grade without any data at all? Because you'd have 40 kids taking park, 20 taking MCAS. If we don't use the 20 taking MCAS, we have no data for the grade.
There's still going to be an accountability determination based on those 20 students.
Right.
If it's lower than what we would have had if all of the students take it, then we don't have to use it. We would use a higher calculation, and I'm going to find out during this conference call how they're going to come up with that calculation. I'm still not clear.
Yeah, I'm just not happy with the way this is
I'm not
being
clear.
implemented.
But I will be after
Okay.
the 21st.
So we'll have another report from you at our next meeting, at least on this call.
Yes, we have, the next school committee meeting, I believe, is the 25th.
Yep.
So, and we do have to have a determination ready for
Do we
December
have to vote?
6th. No, you don't need to vote, it's it's based on a recommendation by the superintendent. But I definitely would like to pass it by you and provide reasons why we'd go one way or the other.
Okay.
But it is complicated.
All right. Any other questions or comments on park and MCAS and all that it holds? Okay. Any correspondence?
None at this time.
Okay, future business, as Kathy just mentioned, our next meeting, we're back at Town Hall on the 25th. And then the meeting after that will be our visit to the high school. We'll be in the high school, not the new high school cafeteria, right? We'll be at the old high school cafeteria on December 9th. And then, if the schedule is correct, we're on holiday. We don't have another meeting until January 13th.
Could we squeeze one in?
Christmas, 25th?
Whatever. At midnight?
I'm assuming if we needed to have a meeting, we
Could have a Christmas Eve type of meeting?
Sure.
What?
Even better.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't do
We
it
don't
last.
No,
have our
this year we
planned
will.
holiday event, when is that?
December 9th?
December 9th. And can we invite Mr. Nelson? I mean, we want Mr. Conley there, but Mr. Nelson, I think, well, we sometimes invite former
could
school
be in
committee
Hawaii.
members also. Yeah, Mr. Nelson might be
Has
in
to
Hawaii.
update us on his holiday.
His holiday planning, right. So
Would you rather have a post-holiday report or a pre-holiday report?
Both, actually.
We want to be supportive. so-
Yeah, we want to support Carl, exactly.
All right, so probably the 9th of December?
Yeah, let's
Actually,
schedule
we
it.
didn't even get together.
No, we didn't get
That
together.
never happened in 10 years under Dr. Drummond.
Right.
First I told him a principal, now...
No? All right. Anything else? I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good night.
That was pretty quick.